Glenara City Council acknowledges the Bunurong and Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people of the Kulin Nation as the traditional owners and custodians and pays respect to the elders past, present and emerging.
Before we begin, we want to let our listeners know that all young people featured in this episode are using pseudonyms. This is to protect their privacy and ensure their safety. Any identifying details have been changed or omitted. Hey everyone, welcome to Glenira Pride Speaker Series, a podcast where we talk about identity, community, and everything in between. I'm Sally.
And I'm Sunny. And this episode is a really special one. It's Trans Awareness Week, a time to celebrate and support our trans and gender diverse friends, classmates, family members, and community members.
Today we're diving into something that might seem small, but actually means a lot. Pronouns, why they matter, how to use them respectfully, and what it means when we get them right or wrong.
We've got some amazing guests lined up, so stick around. We're now joined by Cam, a student who's here to share a bit about their experience.
So Cam, when did pronouns start to feel like something important to you?
I think pronouns started feeling like something important to me when some of my friends came out as transgender and they asked me to, refer to them as a different pronoun set than originally. And I think that really started to open up my eyes to, some of the lived experiences other people go through.
What's something that you wish people understood more about pronouns?
They're just words, it's not that difficult to, change which pronouns you refer to someone by or just ask, It's the same thing as asking someone their name, You're not going to call someone by the wrong name unless it's kind of evil to do that.
Yeah.
It's like if I start calling, Sunny Sally and Sally Sunny. Evil behavior, guys.
Now for your last question. Looking at the bigger picture, what changes do you think we can make as a community to make gender diversity more widely accepted?
I think we have to be more open about it. Some people treat it as a taboo topic or something that's too mature for some people. But really,
and why do you think that is?
Because there's a lot of shame that comes to being yourself, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, social structures that people say you have to abide by these and you have to be this. But really, the beauty about life is that you can be who you want to be.
Yeah. Why do you think those social structures exist, though? Like, in the whole wide world.
I think
why?
It was something that a lot of people just felt comfortable with abiding by and just about living by. But some people don't feel comfortable, and it's important to consider them too.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're now joined by Alex, a student who's here to share a bit about their experience. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
So, Alex, when did pronouns start to feel like something important to you?
Pronouns started to feel like something important to me when I started to learn more about gender diversity, and I realized that I was gender diverse myself, which in turn led me to believe the pronouns were more important because I felt like it was more necessary for people to learn about them.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. What's something that you think people really need to understand about pronouns?
I think that people need to understand that pronouns are not a preference as such. It's just like if somebody told you that their name was Bob, you wouldn't just call them, you wouldn't just randomly call them something else, like John, if they told you that their name was Bob. Just like with pronouns, if somebody tells you that their pronouns are he, you don't just go call them she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, like pronouns aren't optional, they're a matter of respect.
But what if they mean it as a joke? Is that still frowned upon in your opinion?
Yeah, well, I think that it depends on who's making the joke and also what the joke is. But in most contexts, like misgendering people is not good.
Yeah.
And now for your last question. Looking at like the bigger picture, what changes do you think we can make as a community and as a people to make gender diversity more widely accepted?
One thing I think that we could do is normalize telling people your pronouns, like when you introduce yourself, say like, hi, this is my name and these are my pronouns, or wearing pronoun pins, because then it shows that you respect people's pronouns, well, generally, unless, I don't know, you're wearing them as a joke or something, which would be rather odd.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And you don't have to be trans or gender diverse to wear a pronouns pin. It's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just wear them.
Yeah, you can just wear them to express yourself and also to show acceptance for the trans community.
Or just so people know who you are, where you stand in life. Like,
Yeah.
Very important to know people's pronouns because it's them. It's
who they are. All right, we're joined now by Onyx, a student who's here to tell us a bit about their experience.
Onyx, when do pronouns start to feel like something important to you?
When I was like 6 or 7 years old, I learned what pronouns are. I learned that if you're a girl, you use she. If you're a boy, you use he. But after a while, she didn't fit quite right. And I think I was about in grade 5 that I started experimenting and thinking about what others to use.
Yeah.
And I tried a few others and I landed on they them and it just felt right.
Yeah. What age do you think everyone went through that? Or do you think everyone went through that? Or do you think it's like a personalized thing that only like a handful of people went through?
Well, I like to believe that everyone has a thought in their life. What if I'm not who I am?
Yeah.
But I don't believe that everyone had the ability or the confidence to fully experiment
Yeah.
and try new things.
And
I
like
think-
people's life at home might not be the same as others. Like some parents might not be as accepting as others, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the big problems of today's society is people can't seem to handle letting other people experiment without looking in the true answer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, like pronouns, like if you, especially like with gender people who identify as gender fluid,
Yeah.
they typically, this is a generalization, typically don't have a fixed pronoun set that they use
Yeah.
every single day. It's
They
fluid.
like sometimes they wear a bracelet, like yellow for they them, pink for she her, blue for he him, but that can change throughout the day and people might still get them wrong.
Yeah, or
you know?
pronouns pins.
Now for your last question, looking into the bigger picture, what changes do you think we can make as a community to make gender diversity more widely accepted?
Well, I think education's a big part because almost all of the homophobic people that I've met, they've all had a lack of understanding
Yeah.
of how it works. And when I asked what makes you believe that, something along the lines of it's unnatural, it shouldn't be happening, this wasn't God's plan.
Yeah, do you think it's different for like the older generation especially though?
Yeah.
Because for me personally, that's where the differences happen. What do you think?
Well, I think that change can be scary for a lot of people, including myself. Finding out new things and new things being accepted culturally
Yeah.
is certainly scary. But I think that if we can keep evolving and if kids can grow up with a more open mind,
Yeah.
then eventually discrimination won't be an issue.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for your answer. So, hey, Sonny, what are your views on pronouns? Why do you think they're important to you?
I think it's really just a matter of respect and
Yeah.
showing that respect for someone's personal identity. And if you don't like it, then well, okay, you can not like it and still need to
Yeah.
respect it.
Yeah, I have very similar views. I think you should respect people and you should respect who they think they are, who they want to be, and everything
Yeah.
like that. Because free choice, people are allowed to be who they want in this world.
One of our guests, I can't remember who it was, brought that up earlier, that it's as if, say, you started calling me Robert instead of my name, which is Sunny.
Yeah.
I would be like, well, you can't do that. It'd be like if you started using he, him pronouns for me, even though
Yeah.
I identify as she, her.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah. No, like I totally get that. And I feel like in our generation, in Gen Z or Gen Alpha, I don't know what you want.
Gen Z.
In Gen Z at least, I feel like a lot of people are really open-minded about this type of stuff. And then in my parents' generation, for instance, they're very close-minded about their stuff. Like they think one gender for all, you're born with, you stick with. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree that the majority of people who are slightly older
In the older generation.
in the older generations would have a bit more of a tough time agreeing with or accepting new forms of gender identity.
Yeah, and
as well
that's
as
totally
sexuality as well.
okay because it's what they grew up with, it's what they
Yeah.
know. But now that everything's changing, should they start changing their views?
From a young person's standpoint, I think you should if you're like an older person who grew up with strict gender rules, like boys are boys, girls are girls.
Yeah, because it used to be all girls wear skirts, all boys wear pants. Like
girls
you're not
marry
allowed
men,
to wear.
men marry girls. There's no
There's no in between.
yeah, and there's nothing outside of that.
Yeah.
I think I can respect how it would definitely be difficult to accustom to that and start accepting that and learning
Yeah.
about that. It would definitely be a challenge.
Yeah.
It would be a journey, but
I feel
as I
like-
said back, it all comes back to respect.
I feel like they could start trying a bit harder. At least some people could. But at the same time, it's what they grew up with, it's what they know. It's normal for a lot of people to not know this stuff. That's why we're making this podcast.
To educate people.
Yeah. Or at least to hopefully educate people.
Yeah, and I guess widen their worldview a bit.
Yeah. And that's what Trans Awareness Week is all about. Learning, listening, and showing up for our trans and non-binary friends.
If you want to learn more, check out organisations like Minus18, Transcend, Transgender Victoria, Aleph Melbourne, and the Rainbow Network. We'll link them in the show notes for you.
Thanks to all of our guests for participating in the podcast, and thank you guys for listening.
Bye!
Bye!